faint green glow above the door, a sign I've never noticed before. The silence hums, the air turns still. This dream lets go against my will. Soft exit sign, it calls me home. Through twilight halls where I drift alone. Memories flicker, slow and kind, guided by that gentle sign. Footsteps echo in a world half gone, curtains drawn, illusions withdrawn. You smile faintly, then fade from view. A quiet end I somehow now knew. No need to speak, no need to stay. Just follow light and walk away. This isn't loss, just something done. The night retreats, the day's begun. Soft exit sign, it calls me home. From twilight halls where I drift alone. I won't forget the scenes I've seen.
Like language. When God communicates with us, he uses all the tools of language to create a rich, textured message. This includes symbolism, metaphor, and simile. The key is to let the Bible interpret itself. Let's start with some common phrases. Have you ever heard someone say they walk with God? This isn't about taking a literal stroll. To walk with someone in biblical terms means to live in fellowship and harmony with them. Since God is holy, walking with him means living according to the path he's laid out for us, a life of obedience and connection. Now, think about the promises God made to Abraham. He said his descendants would be as numerous as the dust of the earth, the stars in the sky, and the sand on the seashore. These aren't just poetic ways of saying a lot. They represent the vastness of God's promise, including both Abraham's physical descendants, the Jewish and Arab peoples, and his spiritual children, which, as the Apostle Paul explains, are all those who live by faith. Another famous phrase is a land flowing with milk and honey. When God described the promised land this way, he wasn't talking about literal rivers of dairy and sugar. Milk and honey were prized foods in ancient times. An abundance of them symbolized a lush, fertile land with rich pastures for animals and plenty of flowers for bees. It was a symbol of incredible blessing and provision, a paradise on earth. Let's move from places to people, specifically the heart. The Bible talks a lot about our hearts. One powerful symbol is the circumcised heart. Physical circumcision was the external sign of God's covenant with the Jewish people. But God was always after something deeper, an internal transformation. A circumcised heart means our inner being is fully devoted to God. It's not just about outward actions. It's about our core identity being shaped by his word. This leads us to another heart metaphor, hearts of stone versus hearts of flesh. A heart of stone is hard, cold, and spiritually dead. It can't feel or respond to God's love. But God makes a beautiful promise. He will remove our heart of stone and replace it with a living, responsive heart of flesh, a heart that can love him and follow him. It's a powerful picture of spiritual rebirth. Now, let's talk about some symbols that represent people and places. In the Old Testament, after the kingdom of Israel split, You'll often see the northern kingdom referred to as Ephraim and the southern kingdom as Judah. Ephraim and Judah were two of the most prominent tribes, so their names were used as a kind of shorthand to represent the whole. This literary device, where a part stands for the whole, is called a metonymy. Another poignant example is the imagery of Rachel weeping for her children in the book of Jeremiah. Rachel was one of Jacob's wives, buried near Bethlehem. Her weeping became a symbol of the profound grief experienced when the people of Judah were conquered and exiled. Centuries later, the Gospel of Matthew uses this same image to describe the sorrow of the mothers in Bethlehem when King Herod ordered the massacre of the baby boys. Rachel becomes a symbol for all grieving mothers. Nature and objects also carry deep symbolic weight. Think about the majestic cedars of Lebanon. In ancient Israel, large, strong trees were rare and valuable. The cedars of Lebanon could grow over 100 feet tall, and their timber was used to build temples and ships. Symbolically, they came to represent strength, stature, and sometimes pride. When the Bible mentions these cedars, it's often invoking a sense of power and majesty. Let's look at a simpler, more common image, dust. In the New Testament, Jesus told his disciples that if a town rejected their message, they should shake the dust off their feet as they left. This wasn't just a quirky instruction. Devout Jews of that time would do this when leaving a Gentile area to symbolically cleanse themselves of ungodly influences. By telling his disciples to do this when leaving a Jewish town that rejected him, Jesus was making a powerful statement. Rejecting the Messiah was a serious offense that put them on the outside. Jesus was a master of using symbols to make a point. One of his most scathing criticisms was calling the religious leaders whitewashed tombs. Imagine a stone tomb, beautifully painted white on the outside, looking clean and respectable, but inside, it's full of death and decay. This was Jesus' symbol for hypocrisy, people who look righteous on the outside, but whose hearts are far from God. It's a stark reminder that God cares about what's on the inside. On a more positive note, Jesus also used a construction symbol for himself, the capstone. A capstone is a keystone often placed at the top of a wall, or as the final piece in an arch. It completes and secures the entire structure. Jesus is the capstone of our faith. He is the crowning achievement of God's plan, the one who holds everything together. The New Testament writers also embrace powerful symbols. They often describe believers as a slave or servant of Christ. In our modern culture, this can sound negative, but in its context, it's about ultimate allegiance. It symbolizes our joyful responsibility to follow Christ's will, not our own. The alternative is being a slave to sin. By becoming a servant of Christ, we are set free from sin and led by the Spirit. It's like an indentured servant who, after his debt is paid, chooses to stay with a good master out of love and loyalty. Now for the animal kingdom, which is full of biblical symbolism. Let's start with the serpent. From the Garden of Eden to the book of Revelation, the serpent almost always symbolizes Satan and deception. The serpent in Genesis is described as crafty, a trait that is associated with evil and temptation throughout the Bible. In contrast, the lion is a symbol of power. A lion is a fearless and mighty hunter. Interestingly, this symbol is used to represent different figures. God himself is compared to a lion, fierce in judgment. Jesus is called the Lion of the tribe of Judah, representing his authority and kingly power. But Satan is also described as a prowling lion seeking to devour us. Context is everything when interpreting this symbol. What about dogs? Today, we think of dogs as beloved pets, but in biblical times, they were often wild scavengers. The term dog was a serious insult, often used by Jews to refer to Gentiles. So, when Jesus has a conversation with a Gentile woman who compares herself to a dog willing to eat the crumbs from the master's table, it's a profound moment. It shows that Jesus' grace extends to everyone, not just the children of Israel. And finally, perhaps the most tender animal symbol, sheep. Sheep are completely dependent on their shepherd for guidance, protection, and provision. They aren't the smartest animals, and they get lost easily. The Bible frequently uses sheep to symbolize us, God's followers. And who is our shepherd? Jesus. He is the good shepherd who knows us, leads us, and even lays down his life for us, his sheep. We are safe when we listen for his voice and follow him. So, as you can see, the Bible is alive with symbolism. From walking with God to being his sheep, these images aren't just poetic flair. They are profound spiritual truths wrapped in everyday language and experiences. By paying attention to these symbols and learning their context, we can gain a much deeper, richer, and more personal understanding of God's Word. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you on your journey of discovering the incredible depth of the Bible. If you found this helpful, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe for more content that helps you explore your faith. See you in the next video.
Thank you all for watching this here.